is Curtis from Ace Per Head Studios, coming right back at you with another episode of Sports Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about all the eyes are on the Atlanta Falcons with that 4th overall pick. Jacksonville, they had the number 1 pick. Everybody wanted to know what they were going to do, but it was pretty obvious. When it came around to it, Trevor Lawrence was going first. So it was a quick little dating of that interest of what they're going to do. Then the Jets, well, everyone kind of knew they were going quarterback, and now it's official, so they moved on to the Dolphins. The Dolphins had the dance for a while. Everybody wanted to dance with the Dolphins, find out what were they going to do. Well, they traded back, traded up. They kind of lost that glow now. People are really not concerned about what the Dolphins are going to do, except for Dolphins fans and, obviously other teams behind them. But now, with that 4th pick, considering the 49ers are going to take a quarterback. You got a quarterback going 1, 2, and 3. Everyone wants to know what's the Falcons going to do. Sort of reminds me when I was a kid. Once I got out of high school, a bunch of my friends, we started hanging out. We had cars. And one of the friends we had, it was a girl, and she had a house. And her mother was always gone, always going here, going there. So that was the party house. Everybody went to Beth's house to party, drink, smoke, do whatever. So it was about 6, 7 guys and, like 2 or 3 girls. They were kind of good looking. They were more friends than anything. One day, though, Beth had a friend come over, a special friend called Linda. Now, Linda was a wannabe model, 6 feet tall, blonde, long blonde hair, beautiful blue eyes. And every guy there lost all their glow for the rest of the girls, and all eyes were on Linda, or Luscious Linda, as we called her. If Linda went here, all eyes went here. If Linda wanted to go to movies, everybody wanted to go to movies. Well, right now, the Falcons, they get to play Luscious Linda. But what are they going to do? All kind of talk. Matt Ryan, despite being ranked the 12th best quarterback by PFF, he's old. He's going to be 36. Time's over. Got to move on from him. Other people, the news comes out that GM Fontenot wants to get a new quarterback, and Arthur Smith, the new coach, he wants to keep Ryan. So it's going back and forth. And then you hear Cowboys. The Cowboys, they got real interest in picks. They want to move up to the 4th pick. You hear about maybe the Lions moving up to the 4th pick. And now you hear the Falcons. Well, we'd consider going back. But, the quarterback, that quarterback, that glow of that quarterback. So what does it seem like the Falcons are really going to do? Well, we have to be clear. Quarterback is critical. You have a new staff. You have a new GM. They're going to get one crack at this. I mean, some coaches, they come in, they get the head coaching job or GM job, and they screw it up, and they're gone. They never get a job like that again. So they got to have a semi-successful time with this franchise. So let's look at the team, where it stands, look at its recent history, and maybe we could find some kind of idea about where the Falcons are going to go. Well, Matt Ryan, he was drafted in 2008. My Dolphins had a chance to get him. We went with Long, but, that didn't work out so well. It was good. It was a good pick, but still, we let Ryan go. It's kind of a sore spot. Ryan has been a very good, but not elite quarterback, but a very good quarterback for a long time. His last 4 seasons from 2017, after the last playoff appearance, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. 2018, 35 touchdowns, 7 picks, but 8 fumbles. 2019, 26 picks, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 9 fumbles. 2020, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Is he too old? Is he going downhill? Is he past his prime? Should the Falcons move on and draft one of those shiny new quarterbacks? Well, we have to remember, again, football is a team sport. It does not matter how good you are. If the players around you aren't good, it's going to be very difficult unless your name's Barry Sanders or Lawrence Taylor or, Deion Sanders or something of that epic level. But generally speaking, no one can make it on their own in the NFL without a team. So if you look, You could see that Ryan had that excellent 2018 season. But what about your run game? 2017, 13th running yards in the league. Went to the playoffs. Okay, 10th yards per carry. Now the fall starts happening in 2018. 26th overall rush yards. 2019, 29th overall rush yards. 2020, 26th overall rush yards, but 31st in yards per carry. That is disastrous for a quarterback. Disastrous for a team. Running game is critical because it soaks up time, keeps the defense off the field, gives play action, takes focus off the receivers. There's all kinds, everyone knows. I hate to say I love PFF, but they kind of like downplay the running game. They talk about it. So, it's a passing league. Running is not really that important. I beg to differ. But that's a talk for another day. Defensive rankings now. Let's keep going through this. 2017, playoffs again, 9th overall defense in the league. So you had the 13th best rushing attack and the 9th best defense, and you made to the playoffs. And in truth, that playoff game was against Philly. It was a 10-15 score, and Philly went on the Super Bowl. So you guys were that close to returning to the Super Bowl. But 2018, 28th best rushing attack, 28th best defense. 2019, 20th best defense. 2020, 29th best or worst defense. But if you look through it, the pass defense has been even the worst aspect. In 2020, you guys had a top 10 run defense, but the worst pass defense in the league. And that follows up the year prior. You had a 20th ranked run defense, 21st pass defense, 25th run defense in 2018, and 27th pass defense. So right now we're seeing that after 2017, the focus should not be on Ryan. Right now the focus is on a descending defense that can't stop the pass and a run game that is inept. It's not doing anything. But we'll keep going. Let's look at pressures. 2017, 13th best in the league in pressures. 2018, downward we go, 22nd. 2019, tied with 3 teams, 29th. 2020, tied with 2 teams, 23rd. So, as we're looking at this, if you were the Falcons, is a quarterback going to fix your situation? Matt Ryan was the 12th best quarterback in the NFL with the worst running attack, one of the worst defenses, and one of the least amount of pressures in the league. So you ask yourself, what would Matt Ryan be doing if you had an efficient running game? If you were able to stop somebody on defense, and if you were able to bring pressure? And I truly believe that the talk between the GM and the disagreements between the GM and the coach, this is totally scripted. I cannot see how if a team were to ask for that 4th pick and cough up 3 or 4 picks, you would not take it. But I might be wrong. Let's keep looking at some of the facts here. All right, your records. 2016, Super Bowl 11-5. 2017, 10-6. As we spoke, we lost to the Eagles. Then 2018, 7-9. 2019, 7-9. 2020, 4-12. So you're 4-12. You have an opportunity. You can roll the dice on the 4th or 5th best option, potentially speaking, as rookie quarterback. Or maybe you could draft Pitts or some kind of receiver or something to that effect to get value. But if you were given the opportunity to move back, fall back into later into the draft, still acquire Patrick Surtain II, still pick up a quality tackle, or there's going to be so many corners available, or a linebacker, and then get an extra pick next year, extra pick this year. I mean, look at the Dolphins. They picked up 2 firsts and a third to move from the 3rd spot to the 12th spot. If a team's desperate enough to go on draft day, because that's when all the pressure's there. That's when all the pressure, everybody wants that pick, man. They're going to do anything to get that pick. And desperation makes people do rash things. And that's probably when you're going to get the most amount of returns for a trade back. I just don't see how you can take the 12th best quarterback, who's 36. Your division right now has Brady, who's going to be, 45, and he's still going? Matt Ryan's missed 2 or 3 games in his career. He's a big guy. You bring him protection, you bring a quality team around him, you could easily get 37, 38, 39, 40, at least 4 to 5 years. So, or you bring in that rookie who you're rolling the dice on, who needs a couple of years to develop and get experience, and then you're going to have, a team around you that's not getting built. How are you supposed to build this team around you with just the right amount of picks? When you look over the roster, it's Swiss cheese. This is why the rankings are where they're at. So, maybe Arthur Blank is saying to the GM, hey, guys, we're going to do a 5-year build. Just get that quarterback for me. We'll tank next year too, and whatever. That's totally possible. But I don't know how the head coach and the GM are going to feel comfortable with that. But again, it comes down to Arthur Blank. Does Arthur Blank get in there? Do they have a longer-term plan? I don't know. For me, seems pretty obvious what the Falcons need to do if they have a trading part. It's not guaranteed. So let's keep looking. But before we do that, let's talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, acebread.com, has an amazing new promo, special promo. If you're interested, you can check down in the link below. Check on it. It seems like it's pretty hot. So I would definitely give a click on that link and take a look. And also, I've gone over all this stuff. I've talked about all the defensive rankings, but I'm an outsider. As I said, I write for the Dolphins, about the Dolphins in Miami Dolphins magazine. That's my team. I study them all the time. I know so much about that team because I live that team. And I hear people talk about the Dolphins, and as a person who's a fan, a writer, and all this, I see that they obviously don't know what they're talking about sometimes because they're looking at stats. They're looking at from an outside looking in. So if there are any fans out there, Atlanta fans, I would like you to give me your insight. I'd like to hear what you have to say. So in the comments down below, if you're an Atlanta fan, let me know what you think, because the reality is, if you're in love with that team and you're watching all the time, you know the inside scoop. But let's keep looking forward at the roster. Let's look at the Atlanta roster, okay? When you go back and you look at the 2016 team and 2017, which was really when the Falcons had hit their prime, that roster was star-studded. But now, I had a hard time finding elite players on your roster. O-line, you got Jake Matthews, who was back there in 2016, 2017. He's a 26 rated tackle. That's an excellent position. That's an excellent player to have on your team. You got Chris Lindstrom, 9th best guard. But as far as I saw, after that, there's nothing. And in the NFL, you need a starting 5 and at least a quality 6 man. And right now, it doesn't appear like you even have that. A nice little piece you have to help this running game, because I believe running game is essential, is Keith Smith, the number 1 rated fullback in the league. And it's a dinosaur position. I grew up with the fullback. It was a key position. Allstat was the last great special fullback. But I still believe there's a space for it. I see with the Patriots, even the Dolphins, that a lot of teams are trying to move back. You look at Nashville, Tennessee. They're trying to go back to that old style of grinded out physical football. So I think there's an opportunity. The only two things that I find with Matthews and Lindstrom is they're a little light in the pants. So it would be nice to see you guys add some quality linemen that have some size to it. For years, you ran the stretch zone runs. And I remember back with the Broncos, they used to run that. Shanahan used to run it, but that's when they cut people and chop block. It was super effective. But then when they put the rules in to kind of cut that away, it still was effective, but it's based on some trickery, athleticism. You have a very athletic line to pull that off. And sometimes I felt like you can't always trick teams. That the stretch zone run sometimes hit a wall where if you were running man block or zone block straight, I felt like it was if you had bigger offensive linemen, you could instill your will. Whereas those stretch zone runs, they're very dependent on an elite center, very dependent on athletic linemen, and sometimes you just need to physically get in there and drive. And if you have small athletic linemen, you can't really do that. So you got you got zone stretch linemen on the team right now, but they could easily fit in if you brought in some size. So you got some pieces there, but that's not good enough. You can see by Ryan the way he's been getting beat up and the lack of the running game that you need blockers. So right there, that's a big piece that if you bring a rookie in, what are you going to spend the next 2 picks on the line and pray that one of them pans out? Because that's the reality. All top picks in the draft, the first round, 75% make it, 25% don't. Then when you get to the second round, it's 50%. So again, there's so much opportunity to build around Ryan and take one more last run. But you look at your skills. You got some good skills. Julio Jones, 8th best receiver in the league. Still, like a Hall of Fame. Let's say Hall of Fame. And then you have Calvin Ridley, 11th best receiver in the league. So right there, you have your first and second. And then Russell Cage got in the 29th best receiver in the league. You have 3 of the top 30 skill positions receivers in the league. Tight end, you're a little short. You got Hayden Hurst, 55th best. But now what's the deal with him? I remember him being very good the prior year in 2019. There was a lot of talk about him, but he seemed to fall off. Was it injuries, nagging injuries? What was the situation with that? Maybe you guys can comment below and let me know. I really didn't do enough research to find out what happened. But then I do like your running back, Mike Davis, the little spark plug at 5'9", 217. 24th best running back this year. He had a rough year last year, but the year before he was ranked 24th best. Quality player. He's not elite, but that's a really good piece. You could draft a nice running back maybe in the 3rd or 4th round, come compliment them until you can find something better down the road. So you got a good piece right there. The offense isn't too far off. All you need is maybe 1 or 2 linemen this year to plug in there to set it up for next year's draft. And then you could really lock this offense up. But defense, from what I saw, was a disaster. Deion Jones, 12th best linebacker in the league. But again, 6'1", 227. One of the best, if not top 3 best coverage linebackers. But that's small. And then your other linebacker is Foye Oluokun, 35th best linebacker, 6'2", I believe, 215, but that's light in the pants too. So your linebacking core has 2 quality cover linebackers, but they're not great at stopping a run, and they're small. You guys need a big old Mike or Big Sam linebacker. Maybe Deion stays in the middle. Get yourself a nice Big Sam linebacker. I don't know what defense you're running right now, but maybe in some kind of zone, Tampa zone, you can get away with small linebackers like that. But then if you look at the quality players you have on defensive line, you have Grady Jarrett, 6 foot 305. 13th best interior lineman in the league, but most of that comes from his pass rush. Again, he cannot stop the run. He's not a really quality run stopper, and he's small. So you have small linebackers, a small interior lineman. I do like Michael Walker, 8th best DE in the league, and he, from what I've seen, he's able to play both the run and the pass. That's probably your best defensive player. But secondary, where is it? Secondary, where is it? There isn't a secondary. And you can see how your secondary has been ripped apart. When you made it to the Super Bowl, when you made it to the playoffs, you had some quality secondary players. They were able to turn a game around. They were able to, shut down third down. You got nothing. So you go get your quarterback in the first round, and that big rush in the mid-teens to early 20s of the top cornerbacks in the league, they're gone. Now you got your young quarterback you roll a dice on, no offensive line, and maybe you're drafting a corner in the back end, and maybe that's going to start helping you. To me, the biggest piece you need right now is an elite corner. You can find this is a very deep draft for linebackers. You can find your big old Sam or maybe a Mike or something like that later in the draft in the mid-rounds. You can find your defensive lineman, like a guy to hold up for this year, a run stopper, maybe safeties. You need safeties. You can find them usually in a second. Sometimes you'll find cornerbacks you can convert over to safety. But elite cornerbacks that you believe that have a real shot, the best chance to find them this year is going to be in that 8 to 22 spot. And if you trade back with one of these teams, Jerry, the Lions, I just talked now, you hear the Patriots, they're going to make a move up and try to rush to get Fields. Now that could be a huge haul, but that would put you a little outside. There's some plays you get. I think that might be a little too far back, but I would like to see a trade to in the 10 area. I think if you get to 10, if Jerry would lose his mind and demand to have Pitts, it could be a perfect deal for you. You could get Patrick Surtain, which I really, really like the second. As a Dolphins fan, I might be a little biased, but I really like that player at 10 plus the extra picks. I don't know. All right, so the talk is young quarterback or Ryan. But when you look at the current squad, if you surmise it, small defense, very few impact players, mostly agile players who can either pass rush or cover, no one to stop the run, and a weak O-line that's not deep. But you got skills. So you got the 12th best quarterback, quality 3 receivers, a tight end who could bounce back and have another good year, a decent running back, 1 or 2 good picks over there to fill out your offensive line. Now you got a quality offensive line. And you could pick one of these quality lines in this linemen in the second round. There's a lot of good quality linemen in the second round. So you got a new head coach, new GM. I like Arthur Smith. I thought Ryan Tannehill was done totally wrong. Half his career was wasted because the Dolphins were trying to turn him into a guy he wasn't. They wanted him to be Brett Favre or Tom Brady, sitting in the pocket, making the reads, getting the ball out quick. I mean, obviously the Titans had the perfect environment, good defense, excellent run game, allowed Ryan to minimize his throws and make key throws and use his agility, use his speed and his ability to get out of pocket and be smart and ball, turnover conscious. So Smith did a really good job with them, saved his career. This is who he should have been. And that's the thing I like about Smith. He saw Tannehill for what he could actually do, not what he wanted him to do. So I like Smith, young though, inexperienced. Terry Fontenot comes from the Saints. Saints have been in win now mode. So if you go back and look at their drafts over the last 2, maybe 3 years, they've just been throwing picks away. And they really haven't been that good. But prior to that, they've had some stellar drafts. And Fontenot was the VP and assistant GM. So he had played a major role in picking all these good players that the Saints have had. That they, obviously Breeze got injured. They were robbed a couple of years ago with that bogus pass interference call. But when you look at their roster, yes, it became bloated, but they did well in the draft. So as a Falcons fan, I'd be very excited. I think you have 2 young, smart, successful minds leading your team. But look at Matt Ryan again. I got to bring it back to him. All right? And he's going to be Luscious Linda here for a minute. All eyes on him. People are saying, move on from Ryan. Okay. 2016, when you went to the Super Bowl, okay? Ryan threw 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 4,944 yards. That was his stat line. He was sacked 37 times, 3 fumbles. That was good enough to go to the Super Bowl. Again, backed by a very good team. 2018. This is already 2018. He had the 28th worst defense, 26th worst run game, 22nd least in pressure, and he still threw for a very comparable 35 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 4,924 yards. So Ryan, in 2016, was backed by a super team. Threw the same amount of yards as he did in 2018, but one year he goes to the Super Bowl, and another year he goes 7-9. So the reality is, Atlanta Falcons have the right quarterback. They have the right quarterback for the next couple of years if they can keep him protected. All you need to do is build around him. So what's the best way? Trade back. I cannot see any other possibility if a team presents it for the Atlanta Falcons other than keep Ryan, get as much draft capital as they can, trade back, start building depth, start finding starters, and look to get back to who they are either next year or the year after and get a nice one. And in the process, maybe you find a quality rookie that falls late and you drafted so well with this extra capital, you could take that young quarterback. Matt Ryan could easily play till 40 if you build around him. The Saints, shot. They're in cap hell. They don't really got a quarterback. So you don't have to worry about them for the next couple of years. Panthers, they got Darnold. Is Darnold really going to turn it around? Maybe. But still, it's not. Darnold is not going to be Matt Ryan. The only thing you have to, in your way, to win the division, and that's what it's all about. Win the division, make the postseason, and then you worry about winning. It's win the division. You have the Bucks with a 45-year-old Tom Brady. Greatest quarterback of all time, no doubt, 45. One injury, and then you're in the driver's seat if you build right. If it's not this year, at least next year. At least next year. This team could put themselves with good coaching. Remember, the best teams in the league are the teams that find depth players, and if they're really good starters, post-draft, undrafted free agents. The fact that you have the 4th overall pick means that you're going to have edge on the waivers over most teams. The fact that this team is so Swiss cheesed up, you're going to be able to pull these players in, get them, fill this team out. Cheap free agents on the second round of free agency. There's so many opportunities for a smart team with extra picks this year. This Falcons team could become competitive. They have cap issues, so I think that will restrict them as far as free agency. But this second round of free agency, these guys are looking for jobs. They're starting to get desperate. They are starting to get desperate, and they're going to come cheap. So there's an opportunity for the Falcons to be respectable this year, free themselves up from cap hell for 2022 with those extra picks, with one of the best quarterbacks in the league who still got it to make hay in 2022. So again, this is from outside looking in. I was rooting for you guys when you went against the Patriots a couple of years ago. Broke my heart, not as much for you as it did for me to see you guys lose. But I have respect for your team. And I have respect for Matt Ryan. Kind of is like the fish that got away. The luscious Linda that got away. So let me know what you think about how I view the team in the situation. And it'll be very interesting. We got only a couple weeks to see. I'm kind of a little nervous because you guys could put a big monkey wrench in my Dolphins plans. I was really hoping for Pitts. But you guys might have ended up being smarter. You might have held your water longer and it might actually work out for you better. We'll see. But if you made it this long, I thank you for staying. Hope you enjoyed our little talk about the Falcons. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Thank you so much. Be well.